Hey Scorpio, welcome to your October intuitive monthly reading. If you are a sun, rising or moon, then this reading may well resonate for you. I'm Romy Wyser, and if you are returning to the channel, thank you so much for being here. And if you're new, then welcome. Make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss any future updates from me. So after the reading, you're going to have the opportunity to go ahead and join me for the extended, where we talk for another 20 minutes or so and take the reading a little bit deeper. We're also going to look at some specific messages for those of you in relationships, looking for love with a focus around career, and also a message to soothe your soul to help you through this month of October. The way to purchase is if you just look for the arrow that's next to the video description below here, and it will go ahead and give you the link directly to my website, romywyser.com. So if the reading resonates for you, Scorpio, please go ahead, drop me a like and a comment, and I really appreciate you tuning into the channel. Let's go ahead and see what's coming out in October for you. So we're in Libra season, which is all about 12th house activity for you. So a very healing energy, but one that is forcing you to really look at closure and letting go. And you know, that can sometimes be a painful experience, but it's wholly necessary to support you in moving forward in your path. And as we move into your solar returns from the 23rd of October into that Scorpio season, you will feel the renewal and the revival of having worked through that 12th house energy. So we're going to open your reading, Scorpio, with the Hierophant. And this would make sense actually for me, because I feel that it is about a month where you are taking stock and reevaluating your own personal values, I feel, Scorpio. This is about where you're looking to make a renewed commitment in your life, perhaps where you are seeking out new ways of expressing yourself, new ways of learning. And you know, we have Pluto moving direct as of the 3rd of October. And Pluto's been retrograde since 24th of April in your 3rd house, which rules communication, expression. And when we're in retrograde with Pluto and we're dealing with that shadow side, you may have been really questioning yourself in terms of maybe the relationships that have been more challenging, and the communication that has maybe felt more difficult, and where that's maybe stemmed from. So I think, you know, you've probably been working through some fairly heavy stuff over the summer months, and now as we move direct, I think it's really helping to refocus and allow you to almost take a fresh perspective on what matters and what the priorities are. I get the sense of learning coming in with this energy as well. So I think for some of you, you will be seeking to take that understanding and move further forward on your own spiritual path. And you know, that might draw you towards new mentors, new people that can inspire you. You might have a real desire to just explore a completely different subject matter, something that you've never really had the time or the inclination to before. But I do feel that it's brought about some significant change, and this 12th house activity, can be a little destabilizing as we're going through that period of reflection and what we want to let go of, what we're ready to release. We also have Mercury moving into Scorpio as of the 3rd of October. So you're going to feel right at home as the planet of communication moves into your sign, Scorpio. And again, it's helping you to really set a new strategy for yourself, I feel. You are coming across to me as quite driven, quite focused, quite committed. With that Hierophant energy coming through. And of course, 10 of Swords, very reflective of that 12th house activity. So there is closure. There are endings that are taking place in your world right now. And that's wholly necessary to be able to invite in this new cycle of change and this rebirth that you're ready to step into in your solar returns. But of course, you know, these endings can be challenging and painful. And so I think you're also being reminded in this reading to deliver that compassion to yourself. Have that understanding that when we move through these different cycles, there are times when we need to feel vulnerable, when we need to allow ourselves to just be in a state of shutdown or closure, just to let that emotion be fully purged and fully released. And if we try to skip too quickly through these cycles, then we can end up carrying the weight of that trauma or that cycle, that energetic imprint with us, and it's not helpful. So if you are moving through this energy in that first part of October with Libra season, understand that karmically speaking, it is time for these energy cycles to come to a completion, come to an ending. You could be, of course, dealing with a Taurus with the Hierophant energy, so maybe there's been some sort of ending or ending of a cycle connected to an earth sign for you. So we have the full moon this month in Aries. It's taking place on the 13th of the month, and it's coming in on your 6th house, Scorpio. So that's really going to help you look at what you need to release in terms of the routines, the structure, the order in your life. And that kind of makes sense with the Hierophant, isn't it? Because, you know, the energy that comes forth with that is all about structure and those deep ingrained, kind of almost indoctrined way of doing things, way of thinking. And so I think the Ten of Swords and the Hierophant are also showing you what it is that you're ready to transmute under that full moon Aries energy coming in. And that 6th house is all about self-love and nurturing. And I think, you know, you're also ready to have a different conversation and narrative with yourself around how you are going to establish a new way of doing things that's going to support you moving forward. So Tower energy coming in for me is just the liberation. It's really the quality of you stepping free from the old cycles. This is completely in alignment with 12th house activity. And I think you're ready for this. You are ready for a breath of fresh air, Scorpio. And, you know, a lot of the Tower energy that I feel is coming through in your reading today is also about the deconstruction of like internal patterns, internal ways of thinking, and, you know, those value systems that are just outdated and no longer supportive or healthy to your well-being. So yes, it can be a little uncomfortable as we move through those periods of kind of chaos. They uproot us to a certain degree, but your capacity to move through these rebirth and transformational energies, Scorpio, is profound. And I don't feel that, you know, this is coming in to try and disrupt your world. It's coming in to clear, like the storm is coming in to clear, to help you actually step forward into that power time and really be able to bring in new changes, new energies, new connections. And I actually get a bit of an excitement coming in when I talk about that, actually. So I think as we feel liberated from the Tower, you know, and that could have been something that you've dealt with fairly recently, or even if it's still to come in, Scorpio. I think that, you know, where it has rocked your world, and even if that's, you know, internally, or if there's been external events happening, it feels to me that you're ready to embrace what comes next. You are wholly ready to embrace what comes next. So Mars is moving into Libra as of the 4th of October. Mars in Libra is giving us time to be reflective before we take that action. Okay, so I think that you're going to need some recovery time following some of these energies that are coming through, and the Strength card comes in for your Scorpio just to reiterate that message. But for me, this is absolutely bringing in the clarity and the reminder that everything that is taking place or has come about in your world recently, Scorpio, is helping to take you forward. And actually your ascension and your ability to transcend some really old ways of thinking and to let go of some deeper rooted patterns is so significant that I don't think in retrospect you would have it any other way. I feel like in time you'd look back and say, actually this was not only necessary but I'm pleased that it worked out the way that it did. And that's not always an easy thing to say at the time when you're right in the eye of the storm or you're going through something, right? So we also have Venus moving into Scorpio as of the 8th of October. So again, moving into your sign, helping you to feel more at ease with the way that you are connecting in your relationships. And I think that having that Venus in your sign is just going to help you to bond with the people that are going to be supportive through this period for you, okay? And, maybe it's also about like opening up to new connections, new relationships coming in if there's been endings or change sort of disrupting your world at the moment. Beautiful. So we've got another 10 coming in, which again is just denoting this ending of a cycle, this completion of a cycle. But it also talks about really, after that kind of period of what might feel like real traumatic sort of ending, there's just this beautiful sense of emotional liberation, contentment, happiness coming in. And it's just a reminder to sort of highlight the fact that actually the sun is rising here, the sun is not setting, and this is the direction that we're moving toward your peak emotional happiness through this month, Scorpio. And I feel that as we come into your season on the 23rd, and particularly around that new moon on the 28th in your sign, you are going to reach new levels of understanding and awareness, and really feel a sense of joy and in that kind of rebirth moment that's taking place for you. We now have Saturn direct, and then with Pluto moving direct as of the 3rd of October. And these two sort of heavyweight planets are going to have that moment of conjunction in January 2020. And that's really where we get to understand the big lessons around, what's important for you, Scorpio. They're both moving through Capricorn and both in your 3rd house. 3rd house also deals with siblings, so brothers and sisters. So perhaps some of you have been going through some deeper transformational changes with those family relationships as well. But certainly in terms of looking at communication, the way that you express yourself, how you would like to express yourself perhaps, is changing and transforming under those energies. So 5 of Wands coming through. I actually feel quite uplifted by this coming in, and I'll tell you why. Because it's giving a little bit of fight, it's giving a little bit of gusto and a little bit of energy and motivation to be able to work through what are, a little bit more challenging energies, Scorpio. So even though we have that challenge being presented, I feel like you're stepping up to it. Not only are you stepping up to it, you're transcending and moving beyond it. And sometimes we need that contrast, sometimes we need that provocation to actually make a change in our world, because we can grow accustomed to our comfort zones, can't we? And sometimes Tower energy just comes in because Spirit are saying, do you know what, it's just time for everything to be different, and we have to come and shake it up, because perhaps left to your own devices you might say, actually it's not that bad, I'm quite happy to stay where I am. And this could be pertinent to some of you in relationships as well. Maybe it's got to the point where something really has to change, but you're maybe not quite ready to let go, because 12th house with those endings, sometimes it can feel quite forced upon us, but we're not quite ready. And it can put us into you can get very tired around that period of time. So having that motivation to actually then instigate the change can be difficult. So I think 5 of Wands energy coming through in your reading for me is actually giving you a little bit of motivation and energy to do what needs to be done and to help clear all of this out, so that we can embrace what's coming in with that 10 of Cups, right? I think, when we look at Venus in Scorpio, they want to commit. They want that absolute devotion. And I think that that's what you're looking for in your world. You want to feel that you are beloved. You want to feel that sense of devotion. And, whether that's from your family and relationships, or maybe just devoted to your work or passion, but it's that level of passion and intensity that you're seeking right now. Okay, so Six of Wands energy coming in, and I feel that this again is showing the victorious nature of the journey that you are moving through in October, Scorpio. Okay, we are going to not only deal with everything head on, we're going to come out on top with it. We literally, you know, there's a successful outcome to this journey for you. So if there's going to be moments where you feel like I don't want to do the work here, I don't want to have to deal with this, I don't want to be in this cycle, the Six of Wands is coming in to say, you know what, there is an end to this. And actually, if you stay the course and you stay committed, you know, if you take that energy from the Hierophant, because, you know, these changes that are taking place are significant. And actually, to be honest, I feel as well that, you know, you may well have some sort of mentor or kind of outside supportive person that's really helping to come in with the right words or the right support just when you need it to help you through this cycle. But ultimately, we are looking at you really gaining strength, and there's like, you know what they're talking to me about is almost like a gift coming from this whole experience. And, you know, maybe that gift is just a breakthrough or a change in your conscious understanding, or the ability to break a pattern or move beyond a limitation that's held you back for a very, very long time, Scorpio. But I really want to say that it feels that there's a gift that's on its way as a result of you moving through this. So not to give up and just to persevere. And that, you know, the solar returns as we move into your energy is about you shedding. It's shedding that old skin, shedding that old energy, shedding the burdens, shedding the you know, the emotional wounds, anything that needs to go so that you can move in to the new version of yourself. And I love the incoming energy of the Three of Pentacles at this point in your reading, because for me this is about the creation of something new. You know, we have to have that deconstruction, we learn from that, we are victorious in the overcoming of what it takes to move through that kind of energy, and then we build anew, we begin again. And there's a beautiful sense of like rebirth and creation that comes in with this card that says, I'm taking everything that I've learned and I'm putting it into what comes next. And I've changed, and I'm good with that, because I master change and reinvention and transformation like no other sign. And so that rebirth moment and your capacity to be able to do that deep shadow work then affords you the opportunity to come out and create something really beautiful. And you really are creating something very beautiful from what might feel like, you know, a bit of a war zone, a bit of a battle zone even. Okay, so just going to look at a couple of outcome cards for this for you, Scorpio. Okay. Five of Swords energy for me is about your capacity to deal with some of those unhealthy patterns that have been showing up repeatedly. And I think as well, I kind of feel like I want to say that you're clearing out. You're clearing out. Now this could be pertinent to a specific person or a group of individuals in your life, okay? Because I feel like you're just ready to move away from perhaps some unhealthy kind of toxic environments or people that are just not working for you anymore. And there's, you know, that sense of endings, or just feeling, and I think maybe for some of you, you might feel a bit let down. And I think that you know, it's weighed heavy on you, and you're coming to this point where you're just saying, do you know what, I'm done. Like I don't want to be around this type of energy anymore. I'm ready to just have something completely different in my life. I'm ready to experience new kind of interaction, new ways of communicating, different sorts of perspectives and outlooks. And so I think this is you consciously choosing to walk away from things, from people that are, they're just not serving you anymore. Okay, beautiful. And I think this, it really does reflect the journey that we're seeing happening in November, okay? That, even though we have this turbulence, this chaos, this sort of upheaval energy, this ending that's having to take place, the completion of a cycle, we have this beautiful new beginning coming in. Beautiful new beginning. And this is what I meant when I talked about the gift that I feel was coming to you. So what is this gift? It's the gift of renewal, the gift of love, the gift of compassion and kindness and abundance. And, it's everything that you want to receive in order to experience that peak emotional happiness and joy. And, we can't reach those kind of energies without having to let things go. We're in constant flux and change, and it's just a reminder that actually we have to make space for the new to come in, because sometimes the new is even more breathtaking and beautiful than we can perceive in the moments that we might be going through things that feel a little bit more painful. So I think this gift coming in, Scorpio, is going to be received by you in different ways. I think for some of you, it definitely denotes the potential of some sort of new love or new relationship that's coming in, perhaps after an ending or a breakdown, or even sort of a relationship getting back on track and having a fresh beginning from a very, very different energetic frequency. I think for others, this is about a time that you are going to see yourself so differently and really attribute that level of self-love and care as we have that 6th house activity under the full moon in Aries for you. And you are going to establish like deep-rooted rituals that are going to be sustainable over the next few years and really support you in your own soul journey and evolution. And I think for others, it's going to be about bringing in some sort of passion, some kind of new inspired energy, back to a hobby that you might not have done for a long time, or something new kind of taking hold and just drawing you out of yourself. But whatever it is that's coming in that month of October has such a beautiful energy that's attached to it, that I need you to remember that as you move through what could be some more just kind of slightly challenging, mucky sort of stuff that we have to deal with. So I'm just going to pull some oracle cards to see how they're reflecting the reading, Scorpio. When we read like this, they always tend to give us a nice comparison. Okay, dependability. I think perhaps through the journey that you're going to be taking in October, you are coming to new understandings that you need to first and foremost depend upon yourself. And I think that you have learned that lesson perhaps the hard way, really, Scorpio. So, maybe you're in a position where you want to depend on other people, but maybe you've felt let down, maybe you've even felt betrayed by some individuals or situations that have taken place. But Spirit are reminding you that when we come from a loving, nurturing place where we can forgive, and not necessarily for the other person, but for ourselves, where we can let go of the burden and find forgiveness within us, then we can create this beautiful seed of new love, of new energy, of new creation. And then that becomes mirrored. It becomes mirrored then in the connections that start to show up for us. But the relationship that's always most important, first and foremost, is that between ourselves and our higher self, between who we are and our connection to source energy. And it's about understanding that we don't have to be emotionally triggered by every person and every experience. And I feel that that's one of the things that you're learning, through this month, really powerfully, Scorpio. And you're being given the strength to be able to work through that. We have this beautiful connection into, to the divine and this card coming through. So for me, this dependability is about you learning that for yourself first and foremost, and then starting to see that reflected back as you take that lesson and really apply it with new awareness. If it is about relationships, I think this is a beautiful omen. Actually, I'm just looking at the collection of those energies there that is suggestive of you reaching new levels of love, harmony and balance. Remember, in Libra season, there is a justice attached to coming into this energy, a karmic rebalancing. We had the equinox at the end of September, and then that beautiful new moon coming up on the 28th of September in Libra, which is bringing in a very nurturing, loving frequency. Okay, your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. Under the dark moon, we can be asked to deal with that shadow side, and so it's very pertinent to some of the things that you're experiencing as you move through Libra season, Scorpio. But it's also a reminder that what you are going through has purpose. The way in which you are handling yourself is with grace, with strength, with fortitude and with resilience. And these are all qualities that Capricorn also brings to the equation. Now, the new moon in Capricorn is going to be taking place at the end of this year. I'm not sure the exact date, I'll check that out, but this for me is suggestive of you getting a real glimpse before the end of the year at the direction of things and how much those changes you've made within yourself are really shaping and carving out new paths for you. Okay. Beautiful. You are magic. I think perhaps there's moments where when we feel wholly human and we're experiencing, those difficult, I guess sometimes lower vibrational energies and emotions, when we can move through negative times in our life, or, really question the importance or the value or the prioritization, or why certain things have to happen in a certain way, or where we're seeing repeated patterns come up, that there can be at times like a real sense of disillusionment or detachment, or feeling just disenchanted really with the whole process and what actually is transpiring. But what is showing so beautifully in your reading, when we look at all the kind of central focus here, and the reminder of the Six of Wands, Three of Pentacles, kind of everything is happening in its divine timing for your highest good. And there's a really beautiful note that is shown here, and I love the representation of these two hands. It's like literally you're holding the energy. This is for me you holding the energy that is all that you are, and coming to a new understanding of the beauty of that, and the universal love of that, and the unconditional love that it is as well. So I want you to hold strong to this note that there is purpose to this journey, Scorpio, and keep reminding yourself of just how worthy you are as we move through these, because that gift is coming for you through October. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed your reading for this month. If you'd like to join me for the extended reading, Scorpio, we talk for about another 20 minutes or so. I'm going to put some clarifying cards down, and it will give us a little bit more detail as to what is unfolding within this story. We also look specifically for a message to those of you that are in relationships, those of you looking for one. If you have a specific focus around work and career, and then also just a message to help you soothe your soul as you're navigating through this month and moving towards your solar returns. So if you want to join me, you can just click on the downward arrow next to the video description, and it will show you where the link is to purchase the reading from my website, romywyser.com. Okay, so I'm just going to clarify the Hierophant here with the Page of Cups. Interesting. Okay. This feels like incoming message connected to this. Five of Cups is clarifying the Ten of Swords. So there's definitely some sense of loss and grief that's still around you at the moment, that you're still dealing with, Scorpio. Okay, so clarifying the Tower here, we have the Two of Swords. That's interesting. So there's choices and decisions that are coming in. Let's just pull another one and see what's showing here. Hanged Man. Okay. A lot of major arcana coming out in your reading today, Scorpio. So the Strength is bringing out the Eight of Coins. I can see where that's taking us, so it'll be interesting to explore that further. Okay, Ten of Cups. We're looking at the Five of Swords again. Okay. So what's standing in your way of that happiness is what I want to say. Five of Wands. Let's take a look here. Beautiful Empress energy coming in. Remember I talked about how that contrast almost needed to give you the energy and the motivation to move beyond a frequency and raise your vibration. Okay, let's take a look at the Six of Wands here. Two of Coins coming up. Choices and prioritization coming in. Okay, card just flipped there, so we'll take it. Six of Cups I'm going to add there. Alright, looking at Three of Pentacles. Okay, King of Swords energy coming in with that. So you could be dealing with a air sign as well here. Okay, Scorpio. Also going to bring in the Devil here. Alright, and just with our two outcome cards finally. Three of Swords along with the Five of Swords, so that makes sense to me. Let's just clarify that Ace of Cups. Gift coming in for you. Yeah, of course. Two of Cups. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me for your reading. If it has resonated, please do go ahead, drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, Scorpio, so you don't miss any further updates. And if you'd like to join me for the extended, I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you so much and wishing you love and blessings for this month.